Hello friends, welcome back to the CSS tutorial. Today we will be discussing one of the most important property in the CSS, that is position. Position is used to align your different components of the website at different position of your screen or within the division tag. So let us start. I have created one folder on my desktop with the name CSS tutorial, and inside the CSS tutorial I have created another folder, position tutorial CSS. So I'll open that folder, and inside that folder we will create two files. One is for the HTML, so click on this icon, write your name of the page, that is index.html. Create another file for styling, that is style.css, where you are going to write your CSS property. Open both the files to side of each other, and let us write a code. So in the HTML file, write your HTML code, the basic code, and then give a title to this page as position demo. Okay, and then you need to link this style sheet to this HTML page, which is in the same directory. So with the help of link tag CSS, you can directly link style.css file. Now inside the body, create one division, write one class for this div. I'll name that class as a box1, and we'll write some property like box1, and the properties like height of around 600 pixels, and the background color will apply as yellow. So these two property we have applied. We have not applied the width because by default division tag will take the entire width of your screen. So right click inside the code and open with live server. You will get your output onto your screen. So you can see that we got an yellow box on my screen which is taking the entire width of my screen and height of 600 pixel with yellow background. Now to understand the position, let us take another division below the division 1 and write one class called box2 and give a class as box2 and write some property like height. We'll keep same height, that is 600 pixel, and we'll change the background color as, for example, aqua, and check your output. So by default yellow box is appearing at the top with the width of 100% of your screen, and the aqua color is appearing below of yellow box by the width of 100% and the height of 600 pixels. So the default behavior of the division tags are one below another. So that is called as a default position as static. If you do not mention the position, it will be considered as a static position, or you need to write the position property static. It will not tell you different things because that is a default behavior. If if you if you want to override some other properties, then only you have to mention this, otherwise it will show you the default behavior of your screen. So static means default behavior. If you don't use it, it doesn't change your output. Now to understand it in a better way, what I'll do, I'll remove this box 2 and again the properties for the box 2. Now we have a only box 1 and the property for the box 1. Now within this box 1, I'll create another division. I'll write one class for this like inner box. This is the class which we have written within the box 1, right? So now we'll try to add some property to this inner box. So dot inner box and provide some properties like width I want to provide of around 300 pixel and the height of 200 pixels, and to understand it I'll use the background color as red. Now save this much and check your output. Once you come to the output, now you can see that yellow box is a parent, which is a box 1, and the inner box, which is we are giving red color to that inner box, which is appearing by default at the left top corner of yellow box. Now here is the default position of red box is left top corner. Now what we want to do, we want to move this red box within the yellow box somewhere inside the yellow box. Like let's say I want to move this red box to the right hand side top corner. So here is the role of the position property. Now let's say what happen if we use the position property directly to this red box. So let us try. Now the property is called position. So I am writing inner box within a inner box. We are giving a property to the inner box, and I'll write the position. And there are four ways to write your position. One is static, relative, absolute, then fixed and sticky. So out of these five you can use any one of the property. Like now here for the inner box I'll use a property called as absolute. Now save this and come back to your output, and you will see that there is a no difference into your output, because we are not tell the red box that where to stick, either right hand side or bottom or top. So we need to tell him that you have to go to the right side of the yellow box. It means that you don't want any distance from the right hand side, right? So you need to mention along with this position absolute property the position where you want to move that box. So we'll move to the right. So I'll write the property as right 0 pixels. It means that there will be a 0 pixel distance from the right hand side with these dimensions. Now check your output. You will see that it is appearing at the right side of your screen. But one more thing you need to understand that by default there is a gap from all the sides of your screen for the yellow box, and this red box is going outside that space. Okay, to remove that space what we can do at the top here, we'll write one property. We'll write that property as star, and you have to simply write margin 0. So what it will do, it will remove all the gaps which are by default to the body from all the sides. Okay, now you can see that the red box is appearing to the right hand side within the yellow box, but still we are not recognized what is the use of that absolute property. Now instead of right, what if I write bottom? I have used a position absolute and bottom 0 pixel to the inner box which is inside the box 1. And if you check the output, what is happening, the box is by default to the left and appearing at the bottom of your screen, but it is outside the yellow box, even though box 1 which is the parent of red box, which is that red box is not within the yellow box. So that is a problem with the absolute property, because it is relatively with the screen, which is not relatively with the box 1. And now suppose you want this red box to the right hand side of your screen, then again along with this bottom property you will write right 0 pixel. So there is a no distance from the bottom and right hand side, and you can check the output. Now it is appearing at the right 0 and bottom 0. Okay, now but I want this red box to be at the right bottom corner but within the yellow box. It should not leave the yellow box, because ultimately the inner box is a children of box 1. So we want that red box to be inside the box 1. So how to do that? So it is very simple. Remember, to the inner box you have applied a property absolute, so which is referring your entire screen, but we don't want to do that. We want to give a reference point of yellow box only. So make its parent as relative. So who is the parent of inner box? It's a box 1. So write simply one property, that is position relative. Now the inner box is a children of box 1, and this absolute property will relatively applied to the inner box. Now save this and check your output. Now you can see that the bottom 0 and right 0 are applied to the red box but within the yellow box, which is not outside the yellow box. Means your reference point is a yellow box but not the entire screen. Now I want this red box to the center of my yellow box. So how will you calculate it? It is very simple, that from the left hand side, I'll remove this bottom. I want from the left hand side, left, but how much? I want from left hand side as 50%. Okay. And from the top, I want again the distance of 50%. Save it and check the distance. It is showing you somewhere inside the yellow box but not at the exact center of your yellow box. So let us understand this with the help of some diagram. I'll show you. Now look at this card which we have drawn. So 800 pixel is the width of my box, and 600 pixel is the height of my box. We know that static is a default behavior, relative is a parental behavior, and absolute is a children's behavior. Okay, and this is my center point. So what we have created, that we want a 50% distance from the left. So this is my 50% of the distance, and we have also written that we want a distance of 50% from the top. Okay, so we got this point, and from this point it is taking the size of your box which you have created, that is 300 of the width and 200 of the height. But what we don't want to be card shown like this, we want cards somewhere here. This should be my card, right? So what we need to do, we need to move our card toward left. Okay, you can see that this should be moved to somewhere towards left. Means this distance has to be moved as a minus x, and this distance has to be moved as a minus y, so that it will be appearing at the exactly center of your yellow box, because the center of the red box to be mapped with the center of yellow box. So how will you do that? So you need to move this by minus x, means minus 150 pixels towards left, and 100 minus 100 pixels toward y. So how to do that? So there is another property which you need to remember, that is transform. The property name is transform, and you have to write translate the percentage amount of the height and width of this inner box, that is I want a 50% towards x-axis and 50% towards y-axis. So this represents your x, this represents your y. Now let us check. So what we want to do, we got this left top corner at the center of yellow box, but not the entire red box at the center. So simply in your code here you will write another property, that is transform translate how much, minus 50% towards left and minus 50% towards top. Now save this and check your output, that the red box is exactly at the center of your screen within the yellow box. Now next property. So we got an idea how to use absolute, relative, and the default static positions. Now I'll create another division tag. I'll write one class as box2. We'll write some property for the box2, like dot box2. I'll write again the height of around 600 pixel. We'll keep it same, and background color as aqua. Okay, then again we'll create some other divisions like box 3 and box 4. So box 3, box 4, we'll create one more box 5, and every time we'll write some property with the different background color for better understanding. So box 3, box 4, and box 5. So box 3 will be some other color, like I can use uh, sky blue. I'm using some solid colors. Then you can use some brown. Okay, then you can use for this box 4, this will be your box 5, and you can use some other color like whatever it is. Check your output. So we got yellow box as a box 1, box 2, this is your box 3, this is your box 4, and box 5. We got a 5 different boxes, means 5 division tags. Now the next property is a fixed property. What I want to do, I want to create one section which is to be fixed somewhere. Even if I scroll, it should not move. Like sometimes we can see that there is a chat box option on the different website. Even though you scroll that page, the chat box remain at a particular location. So we that property is called as fixed property. So out of this all the 5 divisions, I'll create one division, and I'll write one class. I'll name that class as a floating button. You can write anything. I am writing the class name as floating button. And now apply some property to this floating button dot floating button floating button and write some property like, let's say, width of 300 pixels and the height of around 80 pixels. Okay, I'll make it smaller, 200 pixels, and save this. Check your outputs where it will appear. So by default it will appear at the bottom. We have not applied the background color, so it will not able to differentiate. So I'll use a background color as green and check your output. So by default it will appear at the bottom of your screen, which is at the left bottom. I want to make this to be fixed somewhere on my screen. So suppose I want to fix it at the right corner, and it should be keeping a distance from the bottom of around 50 pixels. So how will you do that? So simply you have to write position position fixed position fixed, and where to fix from the bottom. From the bottom it should keep a distance of 50 pixels and towards the right hand side. So right should be 0 pixel. So right 0 and bottom 50 pixel is the position which I want to fix to my floating button. So save this and check. So you can see that the green section is fixed at the right 0 and the distance from the bottom is of 50 pixels. If you change it to 50 to 80 pixel, it will move towards top. So I want to make it only 50 pixels. So this distance is 50 pixels. Now what is the difference between other properties and pixels? So if you scroll it, you can see that that yellow button is not moving. It is fixed at that particular position. Even if you scroll entire page, it will not leave that position. So instead of fixed position, if you write an absolute, it will remain the same position, but when you scroll the page, that green button will also be get scrolled. So that is the difference between absolute and fixed. Even if you scroll the page, it will not leave the position where you have fixed that. Now the next property is about a sticky property. So to understand it in a better way, what I'll do, within the box 1 and box 2 here, I'll create a new section. I'll name that as division. I'll write some class and I can create a like section my menu, like a menu like section. Suppose this is my menu is a division which we have created. Apply some property like dot my menu and use a height of around 80 pixels and some background color as violet. Okay, and let us check the output where it will appear. Just reload your page and check. So by default it is appearing after the box 1 because we have written that division after the box 1. So now what I want to do, initially it is appearing at the box below of box 1, but when I scroll the page and once that violet color hits at the top of my screen, it should fix there. It should not go out of my screen. I want to scroll my entire page, but that menu bar should be stick to my top. I don't want to hide my menu. So how to do that? It is very simple. You need to apply one property, that is position sticky. Position should be sticky, and where to stick? I want to stick to the top 0 pixel. So when there is a top 0 pixel, it will stick to the top. Now let's save it. Just reload your page and check your output. Now initially it is appearing at the bottom of the box 1. When you scroll it, and the top becomes 0, it will stick to the top, and you can observe that even if I scroll the page, it is not changing its position. So that is the sticky property. So generally whenever you see the different website with some headers or different components, and you want to stick your website at the top, menu bar at the top, so you can use the sticky property, that it will stick to the top when you scroll the page. It will not change its position. How much you scroll, it will remain at the top 0 position. So I hope that all of you have got an idea what is the use of position property to create a beautiful website. So we'll see you in the next video.